Greetings, friends! How do you heat your home? What source of heat do you use to keep you and your family warm? Well, we actually have two here. We have a mini split system that we use, as well as a wood stove, which we use firewood to heat our home. And I really recommend that we all have a way of heating our home outside of electricity and propane, because both of those sources can become unavailable, and we all need to be able to heat our home. And this has been on my mind a lot recently, so we really have been trying to rev up our production of firewood to make sure that we have firewood available to heat our home in the event that we're not able to power our mini split system. So we have these pieces that I'm going to be splitting, and then I'm going to be putting them in our Norwegian wood pile here, and then we're going to be adding more to the center ring, just the random size pieces from these pieces over there. And then I still have that wood to do after that, and then we have logs over there that we need to cut as well. And I recently got my Champion hydraulic log splitter to help with splitting all this wood. And in conjunction with it, I also am using the Logox, which is a multi-forestry tool that comes in handy in so many different ways, but it also is handy for transporting wood to save your back from bending over and lining it up for me to use in the log splitter. And as I was using this tool, I also got a little bit of extra exercise in with doing some bicep curls. And this shot is for those of you who have been saying that you need to see some more muscle shots. Then once all the wood split, the kids helped me out with stacking the wood. And as the kids were stacking the wood, Selah also wanted to get a little bit of exercise in. And here recently we've been constructing a Norwegian wood stack, and it's really neat, and I really like it because one of the things that I notice about it is it really conserves space. In addition to that, it also makes an easy way to store your random smaller pieces inside the center of the ring. And in addition to that, it's also really sturdy, and it's much safer for the kids to be around or on top of. So on some of these older pieces of wood, I was noticing as I was splitting them, I was noticing a few grubs, so we're putting them right in here. Maybe the chickens will enjoy them. We'll have to just see. Let's take them over there and see what they think. Here, chick, 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 chick. Here, chick, chick, chick. Special treat. See there. Oh, treat. Oh, nasty right up. There's another one. Let's see if they eat it. Right here. You also may be wondering, what is all that cut wood that you have right near your working area, right in front of your house? Well, that's actually siding. And that siding we used to go around our yurt when we remodeled here. And I plan to actually use it to remodel or put siding on the little building that we have just beside our yurt. And in the past we've used it as a walk-in cooler, and then from a walk-in cooler we transitioned it into what we called a grow room, where we started our different seeds and grew microgreens and things like that. But now it's gradually transitioning into a pantry. Yeah. So it's just been looking not so pretty, so I wanted to make it just look a little bit nicer. So we're gonna go with the same siding that we use for the yurt to go around our pantry now, just to make it look nicer and neater. And speaking of that, we canned all these beets here recently, and we just got these other items that we really need to start stocking in. So that's a project that I have to do coming up.
And I'm really looking forward to setting it up so our Harvest Right freeze dryer can go out there and we can really preserve the harvest, and we can see how much we can, you know, produce right here on our homestead.
Yep, and being able to preserve the different things that we are harvesting and maximize that is something that as a grower you definitely want to make sure you maximize everything that you put your efforts into. And speaking of harvest, even here recently we're still harvesting different things from our homestead and our garden, and actually finishing up some of the things we've been harvesting beets, as I mentioned, as well as persimmons, which your mom helped us to do. And,
Yep.
and for those of you who asked, we do have to see what we can do to plan to have Martha back on the video again. Many of you expressed that you loved having her in that video, so we'll have to see about that.
Yep.
But we also still have leeks to harvest outside, turnips, more beets.
And we have comfrey that I can dry and harvest that as well.
And even tomatoes, even though we've had a number of different freezing temperatures coming through, you've still been harvesting tomatoes from the high tunnel.
Yep. Well, a red one and a green one, and they both were frost damaged last night. If you can tell, you can really tell from that side. And I don't know if you can really use them after that. This one we can try and eat. And I have roasted green tomatoes before and made some roasted salsa, so maybe we can try that too. That was pretty. I haven't done it yet, but I have heard that you can take the green tomatoes off the vine, which we still have a lot of, and wrap them in newspaper, and then they'll just continue to ripen at a slower pace and they won't just rot. And so I'd like to try that.
It's been pretty neat that we've had tomatoes this long. We started getting tomatoes in June and it's December and they're just now finishing out, and it's just pretty exciting. Thank you for that blessing. And back to the high tunnel. A number of you had asked what our plans are for our baby goats. You're like, well, how does that connect to the high tunnel? Well, the high tunnel, I plan to construct some goat pens, baby pens, for our expecting goats here really soon. So really excited about that. So I've actually never seen a goat give birth before, so it would be really neat if we could capture that and see that. However, I know YouTube isn't a big fan of some of these things, and so we may have to share that in another way. And speaking of that, we're also on Abundance Plus, which is a really great resource for homesteaders and people who are interested in this way of life, and it gives us the ability to share things that we're not able to share on here, whether it be processing animals and animal births, you name it, we're able to do that. And also on that website you can also have access to our videos as well as a number of other YouTubers as well, ad-free, so uncensored and ad-free. And there's also so much more to it, and it's also like a Facebook community within there. It's a really neat resource, so looking forward to contributing to that more. So there's information for that in the show notes below, so if you haven't checked it out, please do check it out. There's a lot of different things on there, and there's also a free trial, so you can try it out and see how you like it. But in addition to our Norwegian wood pile that we're splitting all the wood for, and in addition to the pantry, and in addition to the goat pens, we also have other winter projects that we have planned for around here as well. I also plan to make some goat houses for the goats that we recently set up their areas for, so they can now actually have just a nice little house for each of them in their different sections, as well as some projects that we want to actually do inside our yurt here where we live. So there's a number of things I know you've been wanting to get done for a while, so actually maybe we can try to start implementing and knocking those things out as soon as possible.
That would be great.
Since things are slowing down outside, it's never like slow here, or there's never like nothing to do. There's always something to do here, but now that hopefully it's slower outside, I think we can do some more inside, I think.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Is there any other projects you have for me on your honey to-do list?
Oh, I've got lots of things that I want to do in here. Lots of things.
Oh, another thing that happened here recently is our ducklings escaped. And here's what happened. So you saw them over here out?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I see them over there too. They're in here, they're fine. It's a little wet. But it looks like we have some escape artists up here. Couple.
Well, not a couple, more than that.
So this will be interesting trying to get them back in. We actually have one here. Oh man, we have one that died there. That's not good. What happened? How'd you guys get out of here? How'd you get out? You squeezed through somewhere?
Right here. Bottom.
Oh man, I think when we moved it, we didn't check our gaps and they just squeezed right through there.
Wow, how did that big one get under there?
I have no idea. Alright, so I don't know what I was thinking here. I didn't check when we moved this, and it's just right on, it's right a gap right there. Alright, slide you over to where it's flat, and we'll try to get these other buddies in there. So what we'll do is we'll open up the front. Well, I can't open up the front on this one because I didn't finish the door on it. It's the other tractors that I have the door where you can open it up in the front and they can get in. And I never got around to finishing this one. Oh man. So I don't know what we're gonna do exactly. Any ideas, Sayla?
If they're hungry and they don't have any food, you could use the food as a lure to get them in.
Great idea. That's why I keep it around. Sayla, if you'll go get some food, because it does look like they're all out of food in there. They ate it all from yesterday. So maybe we'll entice them over here and get them in.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side, our fears are done.
This should be good enough.
We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right.
So thankfully they haven't ventured too far away and they just hung out right by the chicken tractor with the rest of their fellow ducklings here. So that's a good thing. So now we just gotta, oh, here's Sayla. All right, grab this out of here. Let's get some feed here, Sayla. All right, I want you to hold it up and I'm gonna lift up and try to get them to come in. All right, you ready?
To do what?
You're gonna slide this under. Hey guys, entice them to come over here. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, come on over. Come on over. Come on. Gradually pull it close and close. Let them eat them first. Yeah, come on. Be patient. Yeah. Let them eat some more. Patience. Move slow. Bring it back to them. Yeah. Let a couple of them eat and just gradually move it slowly. Keep going. Let it go under. You won't lose anymore. Okay.
That.
Let's see. Let's start there. In more. In more. Yeah.
How are we gonna get them to go under?
We're going to actually get to go that way, pushing the feet. Everybody come forward together.
Gotta start ducking to go under.
All right, you got the last one there?
Yep.
All right, go ahead and put that one in. There we go. And then the feet's in there, we'll put it down. Woo, we got them in. Man. All right, while we're here, actually, let's go ahead and move them onto fresh grass. Getting an earlier start today, but hey, might as well. We're moving them along through the garden to fertilize the different areas here in the garden. We're growing produce. And they can eat what's grown up at the same time. About there. There's all kind of little things that have grown up in here since we were growing things last. Clover, grass, all the onions. I see some of those in there, I think. Alright, let's double check my gaps to make sure there's no gaps for them to escape this time, since I didn't do a good job of checking it last time I moved them. Now that was an interesting start to that day. Well, make sure you stay tuned for all the various projects that we mentioned earlier in this video. And as always, you can check out the show notes below for any information about any of the products and things that we mentioned in our videos, like the Champion Log Splitter, as well as Abundance Plus. Those links are down there in the show notes below. Well, it's time to get to work, because my honey-do list is pretty long. We'll see you next time.